Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News Broadcast. 联合早报 reports that on Monday, April 6, U.S. President Donald Trump vehemently criticized NATO allies for their lack of support for the United States in what he referred to as the Iran War. Trump stated that when he approached NATO for help, the response was a flat refusal. He labeled NATO a paper tiger that Russian President Putin is not afraid of at all. Despite his criticism, Trump referred to NATO Secretary General Rutte, who is expected to visit Washington this week, as a great person. This latest verbal attack highlights an ongoing contentious relationship between Trump and the alliance. Trump clarified that his long-standing discontent with NATO originated from his desire to acquire Greenland, an intention strongly opposed by the alliance, stating, "If you want to know the truth, it all started with Greenland." Additionally, he extended his criticism to non-NATO allies such as South Korea, Australia, and Japan for not providing assistance in the Iran war, while praising Gulf nations, including Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE for their support during the conflict. Yahoo News reports that the Iranian Red Crescent on April 6 released video footage depicting the aftermath of American and Israeli airstrikes across Iran, including Tehran and Qom, south of the capital. The footage showed damaged buildings and debris, with rescue teams actively searching for survivors. On the same day, April 6, Israel conducted an attack on a major petrochemical plant located within Iran's vast South Pars natural gas field. This operation resulted in the deaths of 2 commanders from Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard. This escalation immediately cast doubt on a new 45-day ceasefire proposal that had been under discussion between Tehran and the United States. According to authorities, at least 15 individuals were killed in an attack near Eslamshar, situated southwest of Tehran. State newspaper Iran reported that 5 people died in a residential area in Qom, while an additional 6 fatalities were recorded in other unspecified cities due to airstrikes. State television further confirmed that 3 people lost their lives in a residential area of Tehran. Since the commencement of the war, over 1,900 people have reportedly died across Iran, though the government has not provided an updated casualty count for several days. From Yahoo News, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, released video footage on April 7, reportedly showing Israeli military aircraft attacking helicopters at Tehran airport on April 6. The IDF confirmed that its Air Force conducted a massive series of airstrikes the previous night, aimed at degrading the capabilities of the Iranian Air Force and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, Air Force. The statement on April 6 detailed that dozens of Israeli Air Force fighter jets struck numerous aerial assets, including aircraft and helicopters, as well as other military infrastructure at 3 airports across Tehran: Bagram, Mehrabad, and Azmeh Aish. This latest action follows a statement by Defense Minister Katz, who had earlier announced an Israeli attack on Iran's South Pars petrochemical plant in Asaluye. This revelation by Katz came after Iran had publicly acknowledged the attack on its facility. The March attack on the South Pars facility reportedly led to significant retaliatory strikes by Iran, targeting oil and gas infrastructure throughout the Persian Gulf Arab states. According to Yahoo News, on April 6, Israel and the United States carried out a series of attacks against Iran, resulting in the deaths of over 25 people. The Information and Communication Technology Building of Sharif University of Technology, considered Iran's leading engineering university in Tehran, was directly hit. This university has long faced sanctions from multiple countries due to its cooperation with the military, particularly its involvement in Iran's Revolutionary Guard-managed ballistic missile program. In response, Iran retaliated by launching missiles toward Israel and Gulf Arab nations. These events transpired shortly after President Trump issued an ultimatum to Tehran, stating that if no agreement was reached to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by the night of April 6, Washington time, the U.S. would attack Iranian power plants and other infrastructure facilities. Meanwhile, two unnamed Middle East officials informed the AP that Iran and the U.S. had, late on April 5, received a proposal for a 45-day ceasefire and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. This proposal, put forth by mediators from Egypt, Pakistan, and Turkey, aimed for a 45-day grace period to allow sufficient time for discussions toward a permanent ceasefire. However, Iran's state news agency IRNA reported that Tehran rejected the latest ceasefire proposal, instead demanding a permanent end to the war, and communicated its response to the U.S. through Pakistan. According to a report by Zio Sabal, on April 6th, a security source informed AFP that anti-aircraft systems successfully intercepted 4 missiles launched towards the U.S. Consulate in Erbil, Iraq. Several hours later, AFP reporters confirmed hearing explosions near Erbil International Airport, where advisors from the U.S.-led anti-jihadist coalition are stationed. Additionally, Erbil authorities reported a fatal drone strike in a civilian district in the early hours of April 7. Local counterterrorism officials stated that an Iranian-laden drone crashed into a residential home in the Dar Shakran subdivision of Erbil, resulting in the deaths of a married couple. This comes after the U.S. Embassy in Iraq had, on April 5th, condemned 2 vicious attacks by Iran-affiliated Iraqi militant groups against U.S. diplomatic facilities. The embassy emphasized that if the Iraqi government fails to fulfill its obligations to protect U.S. personnel and facilities, the U.S. reserves the right to defend itself. These Iran-backed groups, part of the Islamic resistance in Iraq, have frequently claimed responsibility for attacks on U.S. interests since the outbreak of recent conflicts involving Iran, often attributing any retaliatory actions to the U.S. and Israel. The Pentagon has acknowledged conducting helicopter airstrikes against these groups in Iraq. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.